and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Shireen Bhan. As you can see, we've got a fast and frantic show lined up for you, so sit down and get comfortable. I'm going to start with a very volatile segment in the Indian car market. I am talking about the premium sedan space. For very long now, the Honda City has been the undisputed market leader. But it's now seeing some pretty severe competition from the Volkswagen Vento and the Hyundai Verna. To make matters worse for the city, the Ford Fiesta has launched now with both petrol and a diesel engine. Given where petrol prices are, Sirish decided to pit the diesel engines up against another. So here's the Fiesta taking on the Verna and the Vento in the battle for diesel supremacy.
Styling is becoming a big factor in swinging purchase decisions, and none of the cars here are anything but good looking. The Vento, with its no-nonsense Germanic approach, keeps things simple, effective and elegant. The Fiesta goes completely sporty, from its gaping front air dam and sleek pulled-back headlamps to the rising shoulder line and blistered front wheel arches. This is the car that will appeal to the youth, but at the risk of alienating the larger audience, for whom the Fiesta will be a bit too sporty, a bit too over the top. And then there is the rear that isn't well resolved. The rear three-quarters is extremely bulbous and the car looks undertired despite running on 15-inch wheels. Taking styling honors then is the Verna, which is just so well executed with all the right slashes, curves and aggressive elements. From front to rear, there is not one bad angle, not one questionable line. Everybody will love it, and I have yet to meet somebody who hates the Verna. Powering the Fiesta is a brand new 1.5-litre 4-cylinder diesel, not the old 1.4 Eurotorque, and power goes up to 91 PS. But that isn't going to cut the mustard anymore, and inevitably, she is the slowest in this test, taking 13.33 seconds to get to 100 km an hour. It surprises us that the car, so overtly sporty, gets an engine so overtly tuned for efficiency, and is a complete contrast to the other two that get mighty 1.6-litre diesels. The Vento cranks out 105 PS for an 11.7-second run to 100 km an hour, while the Verna goes even better.
The earlier Verna also had an excellent engine, but this 1.6-litre CRD engine goes to the top of its class. It is the most powerful engine you can get in this class. It gives the Verna the fastest acceleration times, and even though there is a bit of turbo lag more than the Vento, it is a very nice engine to use, and it stretches the chassis to its absolute limit.
With 128 PS on tap, the Verna cracks the sprint to 100 in 10.62 seconds and goes on to a top speed of 188 km an hour. Yet, this doesn't come at the expense of fuel economy. The Hyundai delivering 15.22 km per litre overall, while the Vento does 14.8. The newbie Fiesta delivers 13.6 in the city and 18.4 on the highway for an overall figure of 14.8 km per litre.
These cars are invariably chauffeur-driven, and if you're going to be sitting in the back, you should be sitting in the back of the Vento. The space here is the best amongst the three. There's good rear knee room, the seat back angle is very comfortable, there's good headroom, there's good shoulder room. The only thing I don't like too much is that the seats have been positioned a bit lower to get you that headroom, and that means there's not enough under-thigh support. But overall, this is very comfortable. Also, the Vento rides very well, and that aids the comfort of passengers.
The Verna might be the quickest in this test, but sadly it is not sporty to drive. The low-speed ride is fine, but the suspension is so horribly soft that even over small undulations and bumps, the nose pitches, the car wallows, the suspension bottoms out at any decent speed, and passengers could well throw up. And we haven't even talked about the steering, which is lifeless yet has a quick ratio, which makes a complete hash of the Verna's dynamic character. The Vento, on the other hand, rides really well, and even though the handling isn't on par with the Polo, it is a dynamic car with good steering feel and excellent high-speed stability.
On the dynamics front, the Vento was always our benchmark and it was significantly better than the Verna. But now the Fiesta comes along and smashes that benchmark. I'm really impressed at how well Ford have tuned the suspension on the Fiesta. It rides extremely well, really well, much better than the Vento, and despite riding well, it also handles extremely well. Over roads that the Vento pitches and wallows, the Fiesta, it stays composed, it stays flat, and you can really drive it fast. As a driver's car, the Fiesta is my pick. And that's despite the engine not having the fork of the other two cars. Despite this being the slowest engine in the lot, the Fiesta is still the most enthusiastic, the most involving car to drive.
The sporty ethos of the exterior carries over to the cabin of the Fiesta. It is aggressively chunky, with the center console jutting out prominently, the steering wheel being sporty and nice to grip, and the seats being extremely well bolstered and supportive. It sets you in the mood for some sporty driving, but drop back on the pace, look around the interiors, and you will take issue with the grey plastics, somber interior colors that don't feel premium, and the old Motor Razor mobile phone inspired center console that is just too cluttered. The Vento similarly follows its exterior design theme and has neat, clean, handsome, and very functional interiors. It also feels large and airy, but really, we still can't get our head around to how stingy the equipment levels are. Sit in the Verna after the other two and it immediately feels 2 levels above. It is styled with just so much more panache that you immediately go wow. The material quality feels better and the equipment levels are ridiculously exhaustive. If interiors and cabin ambience sold cars, the Verna is the undisputed winner. Ford announced the Fiesta prices this week, and that's perhaps the biggest downer. 4 variants are available in both petrol and diesel, with prices starting at 8.23 lakh and heading up to 10.4 lakhs ex-showroom in Delhi for this fully loaded Titanium Plus diesel. In comparison, the fully loaded Verna will set you back by 10 lakh rupees, while the Vento Highline costs 9.23 lakhs, though without a lot of the equipment that the others offer.
Honestly, I'm deeply impressed with the Fiesta. Ford have always been masters of ride and handling, and they've got it spot on with the Fiesta. Despite it having the least powerful engine in this test, it's actually the most fun to drive. And if I were in the market for a car of this segment, I would actually pick the Fiesta. Except there are 2 big problems. The first is space, or rather the lack of space in the rear, and the second are that the interiors don't feel posh or premium enough. And that's where the Verna comes in and makes a damn good case for itself. Its interiors are just brilliant, the equipment levels are brilliant, the engine is brilliant, and the low-speed ride is excellent. But the dynamics are just not on, and they're not suited to our Indian roads. It's just too soft and too soggy and too wallowy. And that's where the Vento comes in. Its ride and handling is very good, the engine is very good, the interiors feel sophisticated, there's a lot of space at the back, the exteriors look nice, and overall, it's still the best car in this segment. The best car, but by a very small margin.